Hi, this is Sandy Carter, IBM's Vice President of Social Business, and welcome to our Social Business Coffee Break. And today, the subject I've chose to talk about is around risk management. Now, you might be sitting there thinking, okay, Social Business Coffee Break, risk management. But you know, as I go and travel around the world, I find that the number one objection to deploying social business or using social tools and techniques inside of a company is around risk. So let me give you a story. The other day I was flying up to Toronto, Canada, and I got stuck on a plane. On that plane was 7 CEOs. So one of them happened to say to me after 4 hours of sitting on the runway, "What do you do for a living?" And so I was so thrilled to talk about something with someone. I said, "I do social business. Let me show you the power of social." When I had finished, he said, "Well, that's really interesting, but my board and I have decided to opt out of social," which I thought was quite funny. You can't opt out of social. But I asked him why, and he said the risk is too great, that someone might say something bad about our company, what we're doing, our officers. So given we were still pretty close to the terminal, I was able to get a connection and show him a dashboard and search on his company, on him, on some of his core products. And there was a lot of material, a lot of bantering back and forth, videos about his company. And he looked at me and he said, "Sandy, I've opted out of social. What is all this stuff doing here?" So the point was, he finally got it, that you can't opt out of social. You can't eliminate risk of social. It is there. So how do you mitigate that risk? Well, I always advocate that you have a risk management plan. And what does that entail? Well, first of all, number one entails that you have social listening skills, so that you're listening and understanding what's happening around you. Just like that dashboard I showed the CEO, do you know what's being said about your company, about your product, about your officers? Number two, do you have a plan of attack in terms of how you rate those comments? If everything is a big red zone for you, if they say anything negative, you're not going to survive. So you really need a way to rate them. Some companies I work with do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 being the most serious, red, yellow, green, and depending upon the type of comment, they let the comment go, or they might have someone from the development team address the comment or try to talk about the comment. And then, you know, that red zone might be a CEO or calling together a group to meet to decide how to respond. But just knowing what is the level that you can tolerate as your company. Number three is having a team in place. So you're listening, you know what's red, yellow, green. When something happens, you need a team that can respond, that has thought through that response before something happens, because you don't want the emotion to get in the way. Having that team is crucial. And then finally, having a timeline, knowing that you're going to need to respond quickly. You know, on the internet, I've seen companies respond in 48 hours, and it's too late. The issue has already gone into the Wall Street Journal. So you really need a plan that gets you to address things based on the severity as quickly as possible. I think with those tips, having a plan, having a team, understanding and listening to what's happening, understanding your cultural, what's acceptable and what's not, could really help you mitigate the risk and become a very successful social business. This is Sandy Carter, IBM's Vice President, Social Business.